Well. Hello, everyone. And by everyone, I mean everyone, as in the one person it's saying, is here. Happy Sunday Funday for those who celebrate. I don't do a whole lot of like the day drinking thing. I don't know. It's well, listen, if you're trying to get on, mon frere, I know a guy because it's been a while since I've been drinking with you. No, it's definitely a day drinking day. It's so hot out. It's like 1,000,000 degrees. It's nice out, but it's just, I don't know. It just gives me vibes of like being at the pool or on a boat or something. But also I'm just here in the apartment, which is close to the same, I guess. Is it hot everywhere? Trevor, is it hot out in the Pacific Northwest? Does it really get? I'm sure it gets hot out there, but so it goes. Yeah. Look at that. Just beautiful, clear as the night sky. That is why they call it the superior or premium light beer, whatever they call it. Cheers, people. Man, it's just smooth, man. It's just smooth. Yeah, well, I don't really have a lot to talk about, kind of hoping that maybe some people jump in and want to join or come up here and shoot the shit. Of course, I got beer to drink and records to show. That's kind of the theme of the stream and the channel, as it were. I was just on a different live stream not long ago. Chris the Vinyl Man. Chris is a good dude out of the UK. Out of Cardiff, I think. Tenby, this is me trying to pretend I know UK geography. And he had just like surpassed or had gotten to 666 subscribers. So he was like asking people to show like, shit that has to do with like fire or hell or whatever. For me, any chance I have to show this record, I will always show it. Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell. I love this record so much. It's so funny. The first time I heard this, I was probably in high school. My dad was a big fan. And I always sort of associated Meatloaf. I mean, maybe just because of the name and obviously the imagery here of like this dark and menacing and heavy, well, it was heavy, character. And then like started hearing Meatloaf songs. And I'm like, this is not what this is. I mean, this is like theatrical pop, and I know a lot of people like to kind of poo-poo this record a little bit, but not me. I don't know why. Plenty of hits on here. The deep cuts are great too. Just fantastic all the way around. So, yeah. Todd Rundgren produced it, played guitar on it, wrote a number of stuff. He's ripping on there. And basically, I mean, the backing band here, I think, was like the E Street Band. I think Roy Bittan was on here. Max Weinberg was playing drums on here. I don't know. Everything about this record I love. I was a huge Jim Steinman fan, huge Meatloaf fan. And, yeah, I don't know. It's just... it's good stuff. So, yeah, all in there. What else? I show this every Halloween, but because of the whole theme, I was showing it too. The Crazy World of Arthur Brown with the autograph from the great Bob Johnson. Man, just so good. I would love so he did Crazy World of Arthur Brown, then he had like Arthur Brown's Kingdom Come, and the big sort of record that Kingdom Come did was Galactic Zoo Dossier. I would love to find that record somewhere. Originals, reissues, it hasn't been reissued many times, and I think even the reissues go for a little bit of money too. But this is just out there, artsy, weird, theatrical. I mean, you can kind of just tell by that cover. So good. We love the Crazy World of Arthur Brown, for sure. Just great stuff. Let's see what else we got here. Showed this earlier for some of the prog people out there. Just something that, you know what, I might have to give this a spin sooner than later, just because it's been a minute. You know what? The thing is with being like a prog fan is like you got to be in it to win it, in the sense that there's no just like light, easy background listening. You know, everything is like, I got to get into this and I have to set aside the time and the attention and all that type of stuff. But I talked about this record, the second from Transatlantic, progressive rock supergroup of the early 2000s, really. Formed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, he recruited Neil Morse, who at the time was with Spock's Beard, although would shortly leave shortly thereafter. Pete Charavas from Marillion, and Roy Nastalt from the Flower Kings. The first two records that they did, SPMTE or SPMT, was amazing. Bridge Across Forever was their second one. I think this was 2000 or 2001. This is outstanding. This is just four sides, 4 tracks, 4 sides. Each of them are a side-long epic, and just outstanding stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not progressive metal by any means, but just good. I guess at this point you're kind of talking third wave, fourth wave progressive rock. I kind of rock this sort of like blimpy Zeppelin thing, but cool cover art for sure. I'm into it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to spin that. I have not in a while, so we'll have to get into that. Let's see what else we got here. With that. Just got done spinning this live record from Dirty Honey. This is Mayhem and Revelry. So Dirty Honey, great band, contemporary modern band out of Los Angeles. Definitely a throwback band. I mean, their whole sort of vibe is just old school rock and roll. So if you're a fan of early Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, that sort of just like sleazy LA hard rock and roll, Dirty Honey is fucking dope. Main reason I picked this up, other than, I mean, really liking the band, was I saw them on this tour that the actual live album is for. So anytime I can see somebody and then I can, you know, it's like you feel like you're getting the record of like what you saw, then it's kind of cool. So yeah, good quality sound, great set. I think like the first LP is from like North America, second LP is from Europe, all that type of stuff. But yeah, good stuff. Your classic double LP with no gatefold. But I think this is, you know, this was like $20. So like for a double live record, $20. I will not complain. You know, that's what we like. That's what we like to do here in the VC is complain when things cost too much, but then also complain when they're low quality. I mean, I get it. If you pay a lot for something and it's low quality, then that's probably worth, you know, complaining about. But also, you know, if it's high quality, then we shouldn't be complaining about how much it costs. I don't know. Oh, Trevor says, speaking of OG prog metal, thought of you while listening to Zenith by Fallujah. I've never heard them in my entire life, Trevor. So I might have to reconcile and correct that. I'll have to check that. When did that come out? Ed. What's up, man? Good to see you. It's a good day for the drinking. Good day during the day. Yeah, it's hot. It's just it's brutal. I'm just glad my air conditioner is working. The last several years when we've had a heat wave, um, that's the last couple of years that heat wave had like killed my apartment AC, and so like there were like a couple of weeks where like we were without AC, and it has not happened. If it doesn't happen this week, it's probably fine. But yeah, I mean it's going to be pretty much a fat hundo here for the next week probably. I hate summer, man. I know people love summer and all that kind of stuff, but man, I'm sitting here and I was like, man, I want it to be cold and snowing, and I want to be drinking my Russian Imperial stouts. That sounds like a good time to me, but you can't have them all. This was, I guess I picked this up a little while ago, but this was sort of a weekend spin for me. It's a box. It's a box because it was 5 LPs. They did do like a kind of like a trimmed down version and 2 LPs, but I liked this a lot more than I thought I would, which is weird because like I knew I was going to like it. What would I not like about it? But it's Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes live at the Greek. The 25th anniversary 6 LP box set. I guess it's 6 LPs. That's yeah, I mean, well, okay, it's 6 LPs, but I guess you would say that 5 of the LPs are from the show, and then the 6th LP is the sound check of Custard Pie, You Shook Me, Lemon Song, 10 Years Gone, and then a jam. But this was great. I mean, I thought that Sir, this is you can't just be posting this in here when I'm live, man. That's a Jimmy Crack Crows, and I don't care. Oh my God. That should not be nearly as funny as I'm losing my giblets about, but that's good stuff right there. I love it. Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, I thought that Chris, I think it's Chris. Chris is the singer, right? Chris and Rich plays guitar, whatever. I thought he did an incredible job. It's like in terms of kind of doing the Robert Plant stuff. He doesn't sound exactly like him, but I think he really sort of does a great job of taking his own voice and also making it work in a way that is, pretty consistent to the original. So, yeah, again, this is available as like a 2 LP, I think, but this is like the 6 LP. This was one of those like Amazon sort of feel bad about yourself, but you buy it anyway, because this is like $120 box set, and I think it was on Amazon for like $69. So I was like, that's just classic, man. Jimmy Crackhorn and I Don't Care and the Black Crowes, just great stuff. Produced by Kevin Shirley. I don't think I knew that. Yeah, good stuff all around, indeed. Love both those. Love Led Zeppelin, love the Black Crowes. So good stuff there. I'll move some shit. That thing is doing some work, Ed. That thing is working hard. Get that AC a Gatorade or something. Gonna show a couple of records here from an artist that I have really, really gotten into recently. He's an Ohio artist, kind of I guess like a Cleveland legend in a sense. He was in a band in the 80s called The Mice, which were kind of like a cool, super energetic, power pop punk kind of band in the 80s in Cleveland. And then he sort of left the band, he did like one of these, like, I'm going to disappear for a number of years, and then sort of came back and started doing some solo records that were super like lo-fi Americana. Like we're talking like just a guy with a harmonica and maybe an acoustic guitar and a voice being like recorded on like a tiny, like whatever those things are called. But the artist's name is Bill Fox, In fact, when I did my interview with M. Ross Perkins, he brought him up and was like, Bill Fox is like my favorite songwriter ever. He's a legend, all this different stuff. But the second solo album that Bill Fox released was this one here called Transit Byzantium. Double LP. This was on Scat Records. I've compared, what's apparently like the lo-fi sort of like recording was like hugely influenced by Guided by Voices, another classic sort of Ohio act. But I have a hard time sort of communicating what this sounds like. There's certainly that lo-fi aspect to it. It's just him with a guitar most of the time, sometimes harmonica, sometimes some other bips and bobs going on. Voice wise, I mean, it's very much like yes, like your Bob Dylan sort of Americana background. Also, I get a ton of Elliott Smith. I get a little bit of Alex Chilton in sort of the fragility of the voice. But this is just really, really great stuff. Again, Transit Byzantium. I forget when this came out. 1998, this came out. So, that is his other kind of quote unquote big record, which is on the way. Is called Shelter from the Smoke. Ton of people love that record. But this is just really, really great stuff. And I say all that because I recently picked up these other two. This was, I think, the first record that he did on the 11th Hour Recording Company. So 11th Hour Recording Company, they're out of Cleveland. Really cool story with them. I'll actually have, I think, an interview coming up with the sort of mastermind behind 11th Hour. But this was before I went to Harvard. I forget what year this came out, but this was the first one he did on this label. Again, sort of similar vein, that lo-fi, acoustic, singer-songwriter type stuff. And then what I just received a couple of days ago that I played earlier today and just loved again is his most recent that came out just a couple of months ago called Resonance. And again, I think the only place you can get these is from 11th Hour Recording Company. I mean, this is like as, sort of independent as it gets. It's like ran by one guy out of like his living room. The first pressings of these sold out. So this is like the second run of them. It's just, amazing stuff. I think my favorite track on here, one that sticks out to me is the leadoff track, Terminal Way. If you want to get a taste of what Bill Fox sounds like, I would check out Terminal Way. But the rest of the stuff is just so great. It's really difficult to describe, but he's absolutely amazing. And he's coming to Columbus, but I have a friend's wedding that day. So I guess I have to choose. Richard, hey, beer and baseball, huh? Oh, Rocky's playing. Are you at the game? Are you at the game or just watching? Yeah, it's hot. It's so hot. But, it's hot. We drink beers. Have fun. All right. Well, I am fresh off a concert from last night. 2 nights ago. Sheesh. What was I doing last night? Anyway, Friday night, I went to see a show at a local place here. Actually, it's like basically walking distance. I drove to my friend's house and then we just walked here in Columbus. And the show was the brilliant Say She, a coal mine group that is led by 3 incredible female singers that are all classically trained vocalists that sort of lean into that late 70s R&B type stuff. Whether it's Donna Summer or, the stuff Nile Rodgers was doing, like all that type of stuff. Ed, you would love this stuff. I hate to keep on throwing more coal mine stuff at you, but between these 2 records, like this is right up your alley. They use the term that I kind of appreciate because it sums it up really well. Disco-delic, this sort of, fusion of, I guess, like sort of paying tribute to like the disco era, but also bringing in some dreamier type vocals, great harmonies, big, like funky, soulful R&B backing band. The backing band was incredible, but they were amazing. They blew my mind. just in their performance and their singing. So, of course, I'd be always talking about Coal Mine Records all the time, but Say She, they're absolutely incredible. And I'm kind of sad because they released these 2 records, 2022 here and then 2023. And it looks like they're off the label. So they're not off the label. That sounds kind of negative. They're on a new label. So we'll see. They do have a new album coming out this October that I'm excited for. But yeah, these 2 records are amazing, and they were super good live. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep your records in AC. In AC, that sounds weird. Yeah, now the heat isn't as important as the sunlight. People, forget about that sometimes. That obviously intense heat can fuck up your record, but most of it is sunlight. It's a lot like beer, that's why they say, like, don't store your beer in windows or outside. It's all about the sunlight. That's why they would always say that, like, a green bottle or a clear bottle is not great, because that's how the sunlight gets through, and then we'll skunk the beer and all that type of stuff. So I don't know what I'm talking about now with the record sort of thing. Yeah, it would have been great if he would have called me, Yeah, that was that was also Friday night. Yeah, Devo was here Friday night at the same time that I was at this other show. Yeah. Just their personality. Yep, there. See, these things just kind of work out. Yeah, they're outstanding, and they were wacky wild live. And I feel like a lot of these bands too are also touring out by you all the time, because it's sort of within like the city circuit, and so whether or not they get to you or up to like Hartford or something like that. I mean, I know it's all pretty close to you, but yeah, every time I don't know if anybody else does this, but like when I look at like tour dates of bands I like associate people I know in certain areas. I'll be like, oh, like Ed should go see them. And I'm like, I don't even know if Ed likes, why are you telling Ed what he should do? Like that sort of thing. So, maybe that's just me. What else do we got here? All right, I'll show this. So there was a record show. I don't even call this show. We have here in Columbus. I wouldn't call it a record show. They're like these like record local vendor like pop-up events that happen at like probably monthly at a local brewery. You probably have like 7 or 8 vendors who set up, and you get to know them and all this different stuff. And it's one of those things that it's fun. It's cool to go connect. It's cool to go like look, but at the same time, like you kind of know what people have, and you kind of know how they they price things, all this type of stuff. And so there's not a whole lot of surprises, but I met a guy down there because I was offloading a bunch of MoFi. So we were meeting there to get the deal done. And of course I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm offloading MoFis, which means I'm making a little bit of cash. So you better go spend that cash at this little record fair thing. But I've not seen this very much. And this is for the fans of Wilco out there. I really like Wilco a lot, but when I've seen this record, it's always, I feel like, the big box set. But anyway, it is Wilco, The Whole Love, which I think, in somebody who knows more than me, I mean, Wilco's terribly prolific, right? They put out like 1 million albums. I think this was kind of viewed as a little bit more of a return to form. I think their self-titled that may have come out right before this was not something that was viewed in the highest regard for fans or critics. And then this was after that sort of got back to a little bit more of whatever the roots or whatever you want to say. But yeah, I think this came out, 2011 maybe? So kind of, I don't know, maybe slightly after the heyday of A Ghost Is Born and Yankee Hotel and all that type of stuff. But still a great album, all things to say. To me, the big highlight on here is One Sunday Morning, which kicks off side 4. What a beautiful song. I mean, to me, I like all the stuff that Wilco does, but I am a sucker for the ballad or for like the slowed down sort of acoustic ditty. and that song for sure does that for me. Morton, what are you saying? I knew you'd pipe in. I mean, what do you think of this record, Morton? What's your what are your thoughts on that record? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I making shit up? They'll be back, I'm sure. They will be. And they're sort of advertising this that they might be about to sort of like blow up a little bit in a good way. They were just sort of discovered by Questlove, who's been kind of pimping them out, and a lot of the shows are kind of saying, hey, look, like this might be the last time you see them in a space that holds 200, 300 people versus a space that might hold 2,000 or 3,000 people. So I'm glad I got a chance to see them when I did because they were awesome. Are we ready for some jazz, people? I know it's your favorite part. We love the jazz. I picked these two up semi-recently because they were pretty hella discounted. And I also wanted them both. And so the fact that they were discounted and wanting them both helps. But they're both from the current OJC Original Jazz Classics sort of series. Wow, hey, Pete. Thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate that. Hey, Pete, if you're ever looking for somebody for talking jazz, let me know. I'd be happy to put our heads together and think of a cool episode with that. Hope it's a good weekend for you, my friend. I'm a Miles Davis completist. I mean, anytime I see a Miles Davis record, I want it, I need it. And of course, with a lot of jazz stuff, reissues are the best way to go because finding these originals is next to impossible for a fair amount of money. This is an interesting Miles Davis release, The Musings of Miles. This came out way back, I think, in like 54 or something like that, 1955. So a little bit before the Miles heyday, although it does include two of the cats from his first classic quintet, Red Garland on piano and Philly Joe Jones on drums. Oscar Pettiford on bass. I'm curious. I don't know much about Oscar Pettiford or what he did after that, but interestingly enough, again, from 1955, you still had Red Garland and Philly Joe Jones on here. So, yeah, great stuff for sure. I mean, it's Miles Davis. What are you going to do? You kind of know what you're getting with it. And then this one I had been putting off for a while because of, I mean, the lineup is just incredible, but it's Mal Waldron Sextet with Mal 2, his second release. Of course, Mal Waldron on piano, but you have John Coltrane on tenor sax. You have, Jackie McLean on alto sax. You have Sahib Shahab, who I got one of his records from last record store day last year that blew my mind. He's also on alto sax, is amazing. Egg Thigpen on drums, Art Taylor on drums, Idris Suleiman on trumpet, just ripping some really, really great stuff. I'm a huge fan of Mel Waldron stuff. Again, though, like you kind of have to get these because the other stuff is so expensive all the time. So it was cool to get into those. Morton talking Wilco stuff. Really like it. Only have two in mind, but just going away. Oh, is that like a documentary? I don't even know if I know about it. I don't even know about it. What else is happening, people? There's a tame chat, which is fine by me. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to show these two again. I showed them in a recent video, but always worth showing again. And Morton, because you're here and you just know everything about music, I'm curious. Are you hip to the Cindy Lee train, Morton? This is some out there stuff. Typically outside my wheelhouse, big time. But I heard it and I was like, damn, I really like this stuff. So Cindy Lee, which is a kind of a moniker of Patrick Flegel, who is a member of a Canadian indie band called Women. And this is sort of his, I don't know, alter ego / how people get into like the whole performance thing. But this was the record that came out in 2020, What's Tonight to Eternity. And this is the record that came out last year, Diamond Jubilee. This is a beast of an album right here, in the best way. 3 LPs. It's almost 2 hours of music. Lo-fi, semi-noisy, psychedelic, kind of poppy. This is some pretty wild out there stuff, but I love it. I need some more time with it too, because I've spun both of those a couple of times, but would like to spend them some more times too. So yeah, just amazing stuff for those who are not hip to the Cindy Lee train, if you will. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in case anybody is out there that is bored hanging out, drinking beers, whatever that looks like for you on this hot Sunday. Let me know. Ooh. Yes, it is off topic from the beer stuff. Not beer. Trying out Put 3 mango vodka craft cocktail in a can. Like the canned cocktail thing is kind of taking over the world, right? Like you can buy any cocktail you could imagine, you can buy in a can. You want a White Russian in a can. You want a gin and tonic in a can. Like a margarita in a can. Like the canned cocktail beverage section has kind of gotten out of control in a good way, right? Like all the selection is wild. Well, now we get a chance to try it out, sir.
What is happening?
How's it going, man? Hey, cheers to you. Is that what you're drinking there?
Yeah, my wife brought these back from the exotic land of Omaha last weekend.
Okay, it is exotic.
Oh wait, here we go. I'm not used to it. This is my iPad, so I'm not used to. So she can't have carbonated drinks, and this is non-carbonated. So
okay.
But she's like, I'm not a fan of mango. I'm like, well, I will try it. So,
is that funny that I have so many questions already?
Okay.
I have like the utmost respect for people who are able to like identify certain fruits and be like, I don't like that fruit. Like to me, a mango is just like a different kind of orange.
Is it or is it more in like the peach apricot family?
Well, it very well could be. Well, then a mango is just like a different type of peach. But I guess that's my thing, right? Or like when people are like, ooh, I love oranges, I love mangoes, but I can't stand tangerines. And I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Then again, I love pickles, but I don't like cucumbers.
Okay, I could see that. A lot of people are the other way around because
Right.
But so that's non-carbonated, you said, yeah?
Right. Yeah, because she had bariatric surgery a few years back, so she's not allowed to have anything carbonated.
No bubbles, huh?
Right. So, how you been, man? It's been like forever.
It's been a long time, man. I've been good, man. Yeah, getting through summer, even though the first official day of summer was yesterday?
Right.
I hate this. Already looking forward to October, all that type of stuff. But yeah, otherwise, things have been good. What about you, man?
Well, it's October. That'll be my next show. I'm going to. Actually, I got 2 shows. Same weekend.
Oh yeah.
The first one is going to be Circle Jerks and Negative Approach. So classic punk rock hardcore. Yep. And then the next night I'm going to Leafy.
Laufey?
Laufey. Yeah.
Was it Laufey?
Yeah.
It got me for Grace, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when the tickets were like 15 minutes before they were going on sale, she's just like, texted me like, well, here's the code to get it. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. But so I've been trying to educate myself on her to see what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
I mean, try to broaden the horizons.
Yeah, so. She's cool. I mean, there's nothing off-putting about it.
No. No. Yeah. I mean, so it's going to be a strange weekend of music, going from one extreme to the other.
See, that's what I love about our hobby, though, is like, oh, I got jazz night tonight and then death metal tomorrow,
Right. Well, that's the thing I was telling you about that. Fallujah. I can't pronounce what it is.
Fallujah?
But yeah, that's it. I was listening to him because, like I said, I just discovered him the other day, and the progressiveness of it. I mean, it's still like it's very edgy. I mean, death type stuff, but it's very very progressive.
Yeah, you would call that. Well, it's funny. Okay, so they're a little bit more. Well, I guess what Wikipedia would say is a little bit more like technical progressive death metal type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have to check them out. Yeah.
I think you might like them. I mean, there's from the metal that like the Blood Incantation.
Sure.
I mean, that's pretty out there on the metal edge of it.
Yeah.
But it has that, but it also has some clean singing, but not like emo clean singing. Okay. It's more like it took me a minute to like, what does it sound like? And it reminded me of Ishan, the frontman from Emperor, his solo work. It reminded me a lot of that, which I don't know if you ever got into Ishan at all. I think you might dig that too, because that's pretty progressive. Again, edgy on the metal stuff, but then there's saxophone in it. So
I love that. That's kind of sick, though. I love that.
Oh, absolutely. So
we got a nice little, I guess, semi reunion going on here. We got Greg here. Hey, Mike Greg is here.
He called me this morning.
People know he's up for a Colton Award, which is amazing. Looking forward to seeing everybody. I'll share this here with you, Trevor, and then of course publicly for everybody. I unfortunately will not be there,
right,
this year, but I will be at least as a good excuse, right? After waiting for years and years and years, seemingly, and then just assuming that I was not invited, I finally got the invitation to Sam's wedding.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So this has been such a fun story. So I mean, this dates back to like when I first started getting in contact with Mike, and I was like, hey, like if you need any like help or support or want somebody to be like the social chair of the situation, let me know. And it was around the same time that Sam was planning his wedding. And so I had reached out to Sam and I was like, hey man, look, I was like, whether you invite me or not, like no big deal either way. I just want to know, because I don't want like here's the reality, right? Is like, would I much rather be hanging out with 1 million people in Buffalo and doing that thing? Well, sure. I mean, I want to compare the two things, but like that would be a blast. That would be so fun. But also like, get invited to one of your best friend's weddings is also like, no, man, like, I'm going to be there for you. Right. Like, so I had told him, I was like, look, like if you don't invite me, cool. No worries. If you do invite me, I want you to know that I would go to your wedding versus going to Buffalo.
Right.
And he was like, oh yeah, we're still finalizing our list, man. I don't know why Sam St. John sounds like Tommy Chong, but but he does. And so like I kind of just like gave up like this sense of like, I guess I'm not getting invited, which is cool. And then like the invite came in and I was like going back and forth on all this type of stuff. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm heading to Virginia and we'll have to miss out on the fun this year in Buffalo. But, I'll be there in spirit and, all that type of stuff. It looks like it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that now, I mean, that's, totally understandable. I mean, yeah, as much as we wish you and Sam especially, to be there, but
Yeah.
that's there will be another gathering. There's
Well, and
only,
I think that's what's
I mean,
yeah.
with hopefully it'll just be his one wedding. So
That's a good point. I mean, it's not my brother, but yeah, I mean, that's the good point. And whether it's an annual, mic thing or something else, like I think what's been really cool is like being able to, the trip that was supposed to go on out to Seattle got canceled, but it was going to be fun to have a day or two hanging out with you and doing stupid stuff out
yeah,
there. And
but
that's going to happen again. I'm rescheduled to just go out there in the fall. So,
hey,
yeah,
you got my number,
I do.
so and uh, Tweeds will still be there. So
It better be. That's right.
um,
Yeah, for sure, Ed. But you know what? But also, it's like what's cool is I think well, not everybody, but what's whether we're talking about like me going out to Seattle or whatever, or like when I was out in Ed's neighborhood and got a chance to connect with Ed and go get a meal and a beer with him and go record shop and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it'll be a blast, I'm sure. And yeah, I'm also just gonna drive down and drive right back up the next day from Sam's wedding. So it timing wise, it falls in like a pretty brutal spot. I mean, I was sharing this with Mike months ago, but just like a work thing that I have been so graciously tasked with being in charge of is happening the week after the 19th or like whatever that party day is. And
right.
something tells me that is just going to be a bad weekend to miss things. So,
Right. Well, the thing, it's probably known, but what I'm hopefully doing for the party is I'm bringing my laptop with me, with a external mic, headphones, live streaming it.
oh, that's sick. Yeah.
So anyone there can pop on. I'm gonna put invites to the people within our circles.
Yeah.
I'll give them links to come on, and even though they can't be there, they still can interact with some of the people that they normally, wouldn't be able to talk to. So, and then, whoever else is watching, they can kind of, attend that way. So, yeah, I was talking to Mike this morning. We were just trying to not finalize stuff because that's not even, well, I don't want to say it's not even close, but it's, a few weeks away. And I mean, it's kind of like
It
last
is.
year.
Yeah.
Remember that
Yeah.
1 month, all of a sudden, it's just like, oh shit, it's like
Yeah.
going on next weekend type thing. So, but no, I'm glad you're able to make it to Sam's. That's incredible. Hoping to do something special for him too that weekend.
Oh, for
Figure
sure.
out something. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. John, I still haven't heard it, my friend.
Hey, John.
Yeah, I was on a stream with John, I guess it was about a week ago now. And I asked him because I knew he was a big fan of Neil Young, and I asked him for his like top whatever 4 Neil Young records, and he named a couple of the obvious ones, after the Gold Rush, Harvest. And he says, Neil Young and the Blue Notes, which is like one of these like 80s, like very like
Was that during his Geffen years when he was like
I
trying to
think
just
so.
fuck
Like
with
it was
them?
like the one after, and he was also talking about how much he loves the one with the Neil Young and the flashing pinks or the creeping minks or whatever they're called. The one, like the rockabilly one, right?
Yeah.
John, feel free to jump up on here and defend yourself. Not that you need to. No one ever needs to defend themselves.
Honestly, I think I might start dipping my toe in the whole Neil Young thing. I recently just started listening to Bruce Springsteen.
Look at you.
I think Rob was the instigator of that because he's relatively new with him too, and I just started from the beginning, and I really liked it. Is it Greetings?
Greetings, Raspberry Park. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually.
How did you like? How'd you like hearing "Blinded by the Light"?
It's different. I think that's what started off. There was like an article in like Classic Rock that Bruce was like pissed that they kind of, changed the words around or, made it sound like something different. Right. So I was just like, you know what? I don't know if I've actually ever heard that version of it. I may have like a long time ago, but I'm like, you know what? I have Apple Music. I have access to all this stuff. I have no excuse to not check out, especially someone with that much catalog. I can check it all out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start from the beginning. And I'm like, wow, I actually kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Bruce's 80s stuff, when that was coming out, especially, Born in the USA, I was neck deep in Priest and Maiden and,
yeah,
all kinds of stuff. So
yeah. It is kind of interesting though. I don't really care for like Born in the USA type era stuff, just because it's just for me and my taste, like it's just sort of wrapped up in like just like 80s popdom,
Right. Yeah.
The reason I love those early records so much, and even obviously Born to Run was huge, but like to me, the strength of Born to Run is not that it had great pop songs. I mean,
no,
it's just that. So my favorite is his second record, the Wild, the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle.
Yeah.
To me, because of like the long, kind of like sprawling, like epics almost, right? I mean, there's like 3 tracks on there that are like 7 to 9 minutes long,
right?
And that was the stuff that I always gravitated towards big time, more so than Hungry Heart and all this other type of stuff that was coming out.
Right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where I think I might end. I'll check out some later stuff. I think The River is pretty much my ending point because I actually liked Hungry Heart. I can't recall if I've ever heard anything else off it. I think it was pretty much the only big single off that. And just for the fact that years later, I found out that was originally he wrote it for the Ramones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then when you but you listen to it and you're like, I could see that.
You talking about Hungry Heart?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm like, that would be kind of cool if that would have been able to come.
They got like a demo somewhere of that?
I wish if there is, I'm sure it's probably here on YouTube.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, a lot of the latter day stuff is great too.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Western Stars. It's like, kind of like the Americana record, and it goes to Tom Joad when he was doing all that stuff with Tom Morello.
Well, that's the one I know more is the Rage version.
Right.
Of Goes to Tom Joad.
Yep.
And those two they were put out relatively close from memory. Like when Bruce put it out and then when Rage put it out, there wasn't that long of a time period in between.
I was like, yeah, I remember that was like the crossover that no one wanted, but we all needed.
Right. Or
we're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think Tom saw that coming.
Yeah.
He was probably like, wait, me?
Me?
Me? Right. And I think it was like really spontaneous. Like, I don't know any of these songs. And Bruce is kind of like, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. If John's talking Western Stars, that is Hall of Fame, Brandon at Mr. Hall of Fame, Brandon.
Yeah.
It's like apparently not only his favorite Bruce Springsteen record, but like one of his favorite records like of all time. Like he puts like
Really?
Western Stars up there. That's like the one where Bruce is on that boat. The boat.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This is 2019, so I have no recollection of this coming out at all. Huh. At least it's a better cover than that new John Cafferty album cover. Apparently, there was a new John Cafferty coming out, and
I guess so.
Yeah,
I heard it's okay.
Yeah, Steve brought it up, and I was looking at the cover. I'm like, this looks like an old Wyndham Hill type cover. The artwork, like some new agey thing. But yeah. So I don't want to say what I got. I got a nice shipment in yesterday. There's not a label, but a distribution. Monarch Heavy. It's if you look at the logo, it's just MNRK. I want to say they had a sale, crazy sale about a month ago. Like all these double albums for like $12-13.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as much as I don't need to be spending money because of trip coming up soon, I couldn't pass it up. So I got in 3 titles, and yesterday I went on just a cleaning spree. I probably cleaned like about 40-50 records yesterday.
Really?
Well,
you won this thing, right?
Yeah, it's just you can do like 4 at a time. It's one that their base models that Vevor does, and I'm like, it's Saturday. Let's see. I like to place a wager on who can shotgun beer fastest. I am not shotgunning beer. I'm drinking vodka right now.
What's the alcohol on? What's the alcohol percentage on that?
This is an 8.
Okay.
I think there's one in the fridge. I think it's like a 10. I'm like, all right.
Be careful.
Bring it.
Can't drink those like you drink beers.
No, yeah, you're not gonna, just do the, shotgun it. I mean, you could if you want, but wouldn't recommend it. But I was, playing around with that cleaner. Last weekend, I tried out just a few, because I was telling the guys I had this Blues Brothers record that a friend gave to me, and it was like water damage. The cover was bad, but it seeped through the record, and even getting like your basic brush, wetting it down, didn't do much.
Yeah.
I spun it through that thing for a half hour, and it was at least VG plus. Yeah, it cleaned out really nicely. So on Amazon, I think it runs for like about $110. I recommend it, because not all of us have, Humming Guru or Degritter budgets. So,
right.
Sure, you have to pull it out of the water and wipe it down and let it sit and dry, and it doesn't have the drainage or the dryers in it and all that shit. Hey, it works.
It works. Yeah.
There's my recommendation for the day.
That's awesome. Anthony, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tell Betty, not to, get too crazy on those slot machines.
Never. And then Easy Now says, great combo, Alex. Thanks. Oh, well, I don't know if I would call it great. I mean, it's gotten a lot greater since Trevor got here. I was just blabbing. I was like, someone come save me, but we'll take anything we can get. Hey, don't forget to leave a super chat, Trevor, if someone drops like $10, I'll split it with you. That's a couple of cheeseburgers.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
That's right.
I didn't know that they could do super chats on StreamYard. Or is it on a different level, StreamYard? You could do
Oh,
that?
you know what? I don't know. I guess I just assumed that it was through whatever, like the YouTube was, like through the YouTube. Look at us. I don't think. I mean, they don't do it through StreamYard. They would just do it through YouTube, right?
Hang on a second. Sorry. The dogs were getting restless outside and spilled my wife's drink on her.
That would never happen to us.
You're only worried about the motherfucking glass. Did you say that part?
Oh, and then I was worried about the glass it was in because it came from Detroit.
Were you more worried about the glass than you were about the wife?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He was asking if I was more worried about the glass or you.
You were worried about the glass.
I was not worried about the glass.
Bullshit. You liar. Bullshit.
She said it. No, I'll have to.
Who's not getting a blowjob tonight?
All right. That's hilarious. No, I'll have to check out that Fallujah they were talking about, because I think, I was obviously, you mentioned like Blood Incantation. I'm a fan of even like the Death Growly stuff of like Opeth.
Yeah.
Have you gotten into Between the Buried and Me?
You recently brought that up, I think, and you brought up Colors. That's the one a friend of mine gifted me that a while back. Listened to it probably 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I say it like that is like it's probably the heaviest I go. But I mean, even with like this prog metal type stuff, it's like the heaviest is kind of a little bit misleading, because on either end of it is, ambient stuff or circus music or jazz, like, you know what I mean? And so I think it's not even a struggle, right? Like I don't mind actually, just like straight, like forward head, like death metal, for example. I think what I am not used to is having the endurance to deal with it for like a consistent hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I remember, because arguably, like what I've heard of like one of the biggest and best like contemporary death metal bands right now is I don't know if you've listened to Nile.
Yeah, I saw them once a long time ago.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was. What was it? It was this. God, this is like 20 years ago. It was like Behemoth, Nile, and King Diamond. So
that's a lineup.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I've just I've heard a lot about them, and have like great records, and I've like listened to them, and I was like, I can get behind, like I dig this, and I was like, but after like 15 minutes, I need a cigarette, like I need to like, and so I think that's why I gravitate towards a lot of like the tech death or like the progressive metal stuff, is because you get that in sort of in spurts.
Right.
So yeah,
it's way more of a roller coaster ride with the tech proggy stuff.
Yeah.
Than it's not Cannibal Corpse, where it's just straightforward.
Right.
Just death and growl straight on through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a bit more adventurous, which is why I think you'd like that Fallujah. I think you might dig that a lot. Yeah, when I was listening to it, I'm like, I think Alex would dig this.
That's awesome.
A lot.
I'll check it out.
And I didn't even realize
it just came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it came out like 2 weeks ago, and I went to research them because I never heard of them either. They've been around since 2011.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
It's fun to discover, at least new to me bands.
Right.
So.
That's awesome.
So what else is going on?
No, not same shit, different day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just listening to a lot of music, going to shows, working, trying to go outside and not die in this heat.
Right. Yeah, it's not what's it here? It is currently 65 and mostly cloudy.
Perfect.
But yeah, as my wife says, it's perfect. We will get our heat here. I think our heat wave is scheduled for a Thursday this year.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah. No, it has been. There are times. I remember a few years ago, it got up to like 106 here.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I remember coming home, and I was on the phone with my dad. I'm in the middle of something. I got off the phone with him, had something to eat. All of a sudden, power goes out.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, ugh.
The worst feeling.
Yeah. And my mother-in-law's here too, so it's just
no.
So I hear a motor running outside, and I'm like, light bulb in my head. Stick my head out the door. It's my next door neighbor. He's like, all right, Chad, just grab your 100-foot cable. It's like, all I need is a power strip, just so I can plug in my AC and charge our phones. That's all I need.
That's it. Yeah.
Because we just got a window unit. Because a lot of the older houses, we don't have HVAC stuff around here.
You typically don't need it.
No, in fact, our first 2 years we had a window unit that we never used at all. It wasn't until my wife was pregnant that we actually started using it, because Grace is a summer baby. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. But for the most part, we got it in now because there was a weekend that it was like around 90-ish. So, let's see.
Well done, John.
Well, yeah. Plus, down in Florida, you're 3 blocks from the sun.
I mean, this is like November in Florida right now. So,
yeah. So, next weekend it's supposed to be like mid 70s. So, we're supposed to be going to our state fairgrounds, which is in our town here. We got like one of those food festivals going on, where you have to buy the tickets and sample this and that. Yeah. So going with our next door neighbors, that should be fun.
That'll be a good time.
Yeah, it's a nice fairgrounds, because I was used to the Michigan one, just like on the very north end of Detroit. Yeah. And that place is so run down. Oh my God, it's horrible. I thought all state fairs were like that until I got here. I'm like, oh shit, this is actually kind of nice around here.
I mean, people talk a lot about like the Texas State Fair is like absurd. Like that is yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, here they have a few like permanent rides. We have a wooden roller coaster.
Right.
And I'm sure Texas probably has like Cedar Point style, rides.
Yep. And like the best food imaginable. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, and it's probably like a shit ton bigger too. In just acreage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
So what is? I mean, I'm assuming Ohio has a state fair. Where is that?
Yeah. Just actually. It's right next to the Ohio State Fairgrounds, are right next to the old Crew Stadium. So where the Columbus Crew used to play before they got their new stadium. So, yeah, they got a fairgrounds, and it's a pretty big deal. I mean, they bring in some pretty big bands, artists, every year. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing that I kind of bummed out with here. The Michigan one, the shows were free unless you wanted like the seats up front. Then it was like an extra $10, $15, $20, whatever. Here it's just they charge you to go in. You can still hear it,
Yeah.
But you can't see it. And I kind of want to go this year because it's the Toto, Christopher Cross, and Men at Work. I don't know if it's Colin Hayes and Colin Hayes just as Men at Work, or if you got some of the guys. Well, I know the one guy's gone, but I think that'd be kind of a fun show.
Heck yeah, it'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd wear my captain's hat because I guess they get really, with the whole yacht rock thing.
No, yeah, it was like you're gonna offend the yacht rocker defenders. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I really dig Steve Lukather as a guitarist.
I was gonna say, I was like, that would be worth it just to go see Steve.
Yeah, because he is such an underrated guitarist in the general sense. I mean, people that are into music know him, know his history and what he's capable of doing.
Right.
But that guy just rips. I would love to see him. I would love to see him outside of Tone. Or actually, here's the thing: it's someone that you would dig a whole lot. Can you imagine like him and Portnoy doing something?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That would be incredible.
Well, I always thought like he would be great on like the G3 tours. If you've seen, with like Satriani and all those guys, like they always bring on, it's always Satriani, but he's brought on Vi and Petrucci, and God, even years ago he brought on Uli John Roth from Scorpions.
Yeah.
Every year it's somebody different, but I'm like, man, I want to just go see Lukather just rip.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing. I mean, with those guitarists too, it's not just a complete wank fest either.
Right.
That's the sign of a good solo guitarist, that they can create a song, melodies out of their lines, and it doesn't necessarily have to be shredding the entire time. That's why I mean, because I think, wasn't Yngwie part of one of those? Or
yeah, Yngwie did
yeah. So,
and there's definitely, I mean, it's like the G3 stuff. It's like there's a fair amount of wanking because that's what the people want. It's like you go see that show and you're like, give us the wank. But it's like I've always thought that. I mean, there's so many of those guitarists that it's not just about that. It's like they can if they want to, and if that's what it calls for.
Right.
But that's not. It's not like these one-trick ponies where that's all they do all the time.
Right. Yeah. It's just I don't want to hear. I mean, in parts, it wouldn't. I don't mind. A million notes in 5 seconds.
Right.
That's impressive. But if you're doing it for 5-10 minutes, then it's just like, okay, we get it. You can do that. We understand. Give us a melody.
Give us something else. Yeah.
Give us something that we could, hum.
Yeah. I think we're kind of saying that. I mean, a lot of people have talked about, like, if you're a new guitar player and you want to get guitar lessons, the best place to do is just on YouTube. Like you got these like 13-year-olds who are just like ripping solos, like perfectly done from like Yngwie or whoever. And you're like, that's amazing. Like that is some incredible talent and like work that got you there. But I do wonder too of like, are we teaching people how to like write a song? Like you can't go log on to like YouTube or Instagram and learn how to like write a song, right?
No, I mean that definitely comes from within. Which I didn't want to bring it up to Grace for a few months. She tried guitar lessons, and I don't know if it probably would have came off rude if I would have asked the instructors. It's like, how much of an impact has YouTube had on your career? Like, because now people could shell out, $30 a lesson, or get on YouTube for free and look it all up. So I'm sure it's probably hit them somewhat. It has to.
John, I don't know why you gotta be hating on Georgie Porgy like you are. pretty terrible song. Great band though. I'm a Toto defender. I love Toto.
I know. I'm like Anthony. Yeah, give me the hits and I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
I will defend Hold the Line. You know,
Yeah.
just because that guitar riff is, for at the time, 78.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard riff.
Yeah.
You know, it's meaty and it's, you know, borderline metallic.
That's right. And
I
that solo's
always,
great. Solo's amazing.
yeah. But yeah, I want to see Toto. It'd be fun.
Welcome home. You are home.
Hey, Olivier, what's happening?
I was like, listen, that's what we do. I was like, what do I want to do today? I'm like, I want to drink beer and listen to records. And I'm like, that's why you wrote the channel.
Right. There's a man I'd love to hang out with right there.
Oh, Olivia would be great.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be such a blast. Hey, Todd.
John.
Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Oh boy, any plans for the week?
Work.
That's
about
it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it? It's not next weekend. It's the following weekend. We actually get a 3-day with
for 4th of July.
4th of July. Yes, and I'm so grateful it's on a Friday this year.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I mean, as I stated many times, I get up at ridiculously early. So when it's during the week, and of course I'm not the guy that's just like, these people should know that, you know, people are working the next day. I'm not that guy.
Right.
But it is like, I do kind of, you know, grumble when I'm getting up at 2 a.m. and I still hear shit blowing up.
Right. Yeah. Oh God.
It's just like, oh, it's nice that you're able to, you know, sleep in tomorrow, but no, I'm not gonna, you know, be the wet blanket neighbor. Okay.
Yeah. They're still killing it.
Did they pay tribute to
yeah, I'm curious
Brian?
that's a great question. I'm curious what they're doing during their show
because I don't think, I mean, is that the Mike Love version that's out now? Because
I think it's Mike Love and then the guy from isn't what's his dick in it right now?
Stamos.
Yeah, John Stamos, yeah.
So yeah, they're bringing in the chick crowd with that, but but isn't there like 2 versions of the Beach Boys out there? Okay, good.
I mean, I think there probably was, but certainly probably not anymore.
Okay, but yeah, I was never a fan of Mike Love. Just I don't know.
That's pretty normal, yeah.
He came off as like, I'm more important than I really am.
Even like his statement was like so like seemingly not only like cheesy but like self sort of like centered. You know, he said, like, what did he say? He's like, no matter what we went through, it was all about one thing, love. And I'm like, you couldn't even, sir, like take one day to not make this about you. Yeah.
He couldn't use another word. Like, he couldn't say passion.
Right.
You know, it's just like, I mean, you're in a band. I'm sure you wrote some lyrics. I'm sure you got a thesaurus somewhere in your house. You know?
Somewhere.
Yeah. Pick another word, you know.
He was hoping for Stamos. No Stamos, unfortunately.
Maybe he couldn't make it across the border.
Right. Probably true.
That's my worry about in a few weeks, is just, you know, the state of things without, you know, going political. We'll keep that at bay, but
sure.
I'm just worried about crossing borders.
Yeah, I mean, crossing borders, getting on planes, like all that stuff doesn't sound a whole lot of fun on June 22nd, 2025 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because we'll be crossing 2.
Yeah.
If plan goes right, I'm renting a car. I'm picking up Jeff Witcher. crossing over in Detroit, driving across Ontario to Niagara, Buffalo, and so there's 2 right there. So,
right.
Yeah, I just hope that there isn't any kind of hiccup.
Yeah,
we will see. Hopefully it'll be a minimum. So I've been consciously, especially online, not holding my tongue, as they say.
right. Yeah,
because I don't know how much of that is bullshit or if it's real. Like, they're checking phones.
like they will find you.
I'm like, so what? They want to get into my Facebook and
like I don't know. Like I saw you made a post about like celebrating Pride the other day. They might not let you into the States with that.
Well, it'll be July then. So, that month will be over. But
yeah,
it's really nerve-wracking now. So we will see. We'll try it. So anyhow, I'm gonna try to get back into cleaning house. Thank you for
yeah, for sure. I'm gonna shut down here as well. Make some dinner and pretend it's not Sunday and probably watch some Law and Order.
All right.
Cool, man.
Alex,
thanks for joining.
always.
And thanks for hanging out, everybody, and your comments and all that type of stuff. And we'll do this again soon, I'm sure.
All right.
See everyone. Be good.
Bye.